This one feels like it's going to be a disaster. And I don't mean a disaster like a disaster movie like The Towering Inferno, one of the greatest disaster movies of all time. What I mean is my little 3-year-old girl's asleep next door and I think she's going to wake up, which, you know, as far as disasters goes, isn't that big a deal. But when you're trying to shoot a 10-minute video about a sneaker for YouTube and you get a little cry from next door and you just have to go and it interrupts the videos. Now, it hasn't happened for a few weeks, to be honest. There was a little sort of period there for a while when she'd sort of butt her head in and take me away from the videos. It hasn't happened for a while. Fingers crossed, touch wood and all that. It's not going to happen tonight, but I've just got that feeling that tonight could be the night that I get interrupted. So if that does happen, apologies in advance, but you know how I roll with that, and we'll just have to roll through that and get on with this this video. So without further ado, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to barrel into it and tell you what's going on today, and hopefully you'll stick around and appreciate what is an absolutely epic video, because this shoe is premium of the absolute highest order. And I'm not just talking about the premium materials, because the premium materials are absolutely class, but we're also talking about the placement of the branding, and we're also talking about the detailing. All of it absolutely premium, all of it absolutely first class, and all of it well worth checking out, as today we take a close-up look at the Nike Air Force 1 Craft Ridgerock. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. Meine Chapsuno de meine Chimiti Gudasai, and every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And right now, as I shoot this video, it's record-breaking time at the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. For some reason, the channel is really hot this week, and it is a week thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I just picked the right shoes. I don't know if the videos are done in a certain way that people are really like attracted to them. I don't know if I'm getting, you know, click through or something, or people are putting me on their playlist or sharing my videos or whatever, but for some reason a huge spike in viewership. Now usually I average about 1,000 views a day across the channel, not like for one video. I mean, that would be great, but the last few days, and actually sorry, that's not true. It's usually 1,000 views every 2 days, about 500 views a day, but the last 2 or 3 days we've been well past like 3,500 views for 2 days. It calculates a 48-day window. 3,500 views for 2 is miles more than I average. Like I said, I average 1,000 every 48 hours, and here we are on like 3,000, 3,500, 3,600 views in the same sort of period. So the channel is 3 times, more than 3 times bigger than it usually is for some reason right now. And A, thank you, super appreciate the support and people checking out the content. But B, I'd love it if you'd tell me why, what it is that I'm doing right at this particular moment. That's one of the frustrating things about YouTubing, is because it comes in these sort of waves and you never really know what it is that, you know, peaks you and what it is that troughs you. And for some reason right now we're in a peak, and I'm not complaining. You know what I'm saying? I'll just ride this little wave that we're on for however many days, weeks, dare I say it, that this lasts. I'm thrilled to be popular for a little while, and we're talking popular for me, like 3,500 views in 2 days is not exactly Seth Fowler material, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's a big jump forward, and hopefully I can sustain that, and hopefully you guys can tell me in the comments down below why, so I can duplicate that. But enough about that. Let's actually get on into it and look at one of those shoes that might just be what is catching people's eye out there, and why people are jumping on the channel right now. It's the Nike Air Force 1 Craft. What is it called? Ridgeback? I think that's the name of the colorway that we're looking at today. And I better tell you why I named this video the way I named it this way. I always try to tell you as soon in the videos as possible why I do certain things, instead of holding you on. I'll tell you at the end, I'll tell you why, instead of sort of like dragging that out and sort of stringing it out. I try to do it as fast as possible. And with this one, it was finally the right name, the right branding for an Air Force 1. And I say this a lot when I do Air Force 1s, that it bugs me that usually an Air Force 1 up on the tongue it says Nike Air followed by Air Force 1, which doesn't sound too bad until you read it all as one and it says Nike Air Force 1, and it's like, that just sort of bugs my OCD. But looking right here, hopefully we're zoomed in on that tongue branding, which is kind of classy already, because it's sort of laid back, it's sort of toned down, it's sort of stripped away, but it says Air Force 1 and nothing else. So all of that Nike Air Force 1 that bugs me silly is gone. So already I'm invested in the shoe, and that's what I mean by saying finally me the right branding on an Air Force One, because for me, that double Air up there, I know it's to do with branding. Somebody dropped me a comment and said Nike Air is one brand and Air Force One is the other brand, like the registered trademarks and all that kind of stuff, so they both have to be there, blah blah blah. I just don't like it. I'm not saying they don't, you know, have a legal reason to do it. It just bugs me, Nike Air Force One. But here we are without that, so I'm super grateful for that feature on this shoe. Tiny little thing, but you know, for me it works. So but now we need to get into all those premium things, and we have to start big and work our way through the little details. And starting big, you can't go far wrong by talking about tumbled leather. I love tumbled leather on my shoes. Maybe my all-time favorite shoe that I own is the Red Cement 3s, which has a beautiful tumbled leather across the upper, and it's just a great material to make shoes out of. And here we are with an Air Force One, which is a classic silhouette. Let's face it, Nike Air Force One, very, very classic silhouette. It hasn't been touched like at all for like 38 years or something like that. It is a standard of the Nike line. So when they chuck you know, tumbled leather up there on this, is an absolute class thing to do. And it's front to back, full, everything, the whole thing tumbled leather. So you've got great premium materials right off the bat there, and hopefully I'm showing you in good detail here on the green screen, but not on the swoosh and not on the heel branding. And I was kind of at first a bit sort of like, I don't like that. And then I zoomed in on it and I was like, I really like that. And what I'm talking about is that I didn't really feel like the black swoosh and the black heel branding fitted with the rest of the shoe. Brown and sort of earthy tones, and black's a bit too black to be earthy, so it felt to me like it was like they could have done something different on there. But then when you zoom in, you can see it A, here behind me, and B, by me actually telling you that it's a carbon fiber effect that they've gone for on there. And hopefully you're able to see it on the green screen somehow, that what they've done is they've textured the swoosh. So if you run your finger along that, you'll feel that rough kind of textured effects where you've got some parts in a glossy finish and some in a matte finish to give it that carbon fiber feel. It's obviously not made of carbon fiber, which is an extremely rigid material and would not sit on the side of a shoe. It would literally stop your foot from bending, and well, it would hurt. So it's an effect, it's a carbon fiber effect, and you can see it running all the length of the shoe in the swoosh. And then if we flip around to the back and have a look at the branding on the back, also on there you can see that carbon fiber effect. So so I was kind of, at first I was like, I'm not sure about that, but then zooming in and seeing the detail on it was like absolutely priceless. That's a real clean addition to this shoe. And since we've come all the way to the back of the shoe to look at the heel branding on there, it's not too hard to drop down a little bit and look at a little detail that you don't normally see on Air Force Ones. Now, I don't know if this is an Air Force One Craft thing or if it's an Air Force One Craft Ridgerock thing specific to this shoe. Either way, it's cool. And what I'm talking about is on the back, you've got this extra tag on there that you wouldn't normally see on Air Force Ones that says, if I remember rightly, I think it's swoosh AF1 in that order. If I've got that the wrong way around, you'll be able to see it on the green screen here. But it's very cool in its design, it's very cool in its placement, but hopefully zooming in again on the green screen, it's also very premium in the materials that they use to do that. So it's a really nice touch addition. That's what I was talking about when I said at the top of this video. It's not just the materials that they've used on the upper, but also the detailing and the branding and the placement and stuff like that. It's details like this that elevate this shoe above your standard Air Force Ones. And I really dig, now this is my OCD, like off the charts loving this, the way that that tab on the back, the size of it, the branding on it, the design on it is perfectly balanced out by the Dubreys on the front, which hopefully I'm showing you here. Now usually Air Force One Dubreys have AF1 on them in larger lettering, larger font on there, but in the case of these guys, just like on the heel back there, I think I'm right in saying swoosh first and then AF1 after it. Again, it might be the other way around, but you can look at that, and if I'm wrong, just check out the picture. But it's just the balance, the way that the size of the Dubrey matches the size of the heel tab, the branding is exactly the same, and it just balances out real nice. And so it's, for me, it's just a sweet little touch that adds a bit of extra to this shoe. And I was looking at this picture here, and hopefully you're looking at it too, and you can see, I think what we're looking at, it's not a sticker or something that's been adhered to the Dubrey. It's actually etched, if you know what I mean. It's sort of been carved, for want of a better word, out of the metal. So it's not placed on top, but it's got some kind of, I don't know how you explain it, like sand blasting effect, where they've taken out that AF1 and swoosh branding from the Dubrey, and it was just a really sweet looking addition to the shoe. So so we've gone like the most sort of top half of the shoe. We've done the tongues, we've looked at the front and the back, especially that AF1 branding in both places and in the swoosh as well, and of course the tumbled leathers. But then we get down onto the midsole. There's a couple of things on here. One that I was like, it's always a question, a choice for Air Force Ones, and it's whether or not to brand this right here with a different colour. And what they've done in the case of this one is they haven't put extra colour on there, so that Air branding on the side of the lateral side doesn't pop. I think they should have in the case of this one, especially because a big question I have is whether or not that outsole and midsole unit is a sort of semi-sail colour instead of a pure white colour. And if it is a semi-sail colour, it totally completes this shoe and it'll be an absolutely perfect shoe. If it's white, it might just be a little bit too much. So it'll be a matter of getting these in hand or finding better information than I have, or better photographs than I have to tell if that is semi-sail or if it is just pure white. But it's a great looking shoe. Coming back out, looking at the full shoe, the details are beautiful. The placement of everything's great. The sort of level of understated premium, you know, it's a great balance. The material's phenomenal. It's a really good, solid Air Force One and absolutely premium material. So it's a great shoe and I'm really happy to bring it to you guys today. For now though, it's time for me to sign off. Yay! We weren't interrupted, so all my predictions about doom and gloom didn't come true, but I will shut this video down pretty quickly and go through and make sure she is tucked away nicely for the rest of the night. It is about 20 to midnight, so time for me to put this video up on the old Filmora editing software and then get some sleep myself. So thank you guys for checking out the content, not just today, but like I say, the last week or so. For some reason there's a spike, whatever the reason is, thank you very much. And it keeps on coming, and the reason it keeps on coming is because I say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is that I do this every single day, like every single day. It's not a joke, like I don't miss a single day. So you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.